I gotta not do the leg thing.
Not do this.
I can do, yeah, there we go. Perfect, right here. That's the thing. Spread eagle.
Spread eagle.
Spread eagle. All right. Welcome to Modern Leverage. This podcast is brought to you by Mountain Valley Spring Water. Mountain Valley Spring Water.
The Mountain Valley Spring Water.
The only spring water that the creator of the Oasis app drinks. Is that true? I just made that up.
I drink a few spring waters. Holstein, Mountain Valley, Erewhon.
Holstein is number one, right?
Holstein is number one.
Nice.
But it's like, it costs as much as liquid gold at this point.
What's the most expensive price per ml? Holstein? Okay.
Yeah.
What has the best Oasis score?
Holstein.
Holstein? Nice.
Holstein. Money as well, and health.
Yeah.
Yeah, this will be the case until we get Oasis water for sure.
Yes, I'm excited for that. We got to not do that.
So, kick us off. I don't really know what this podcast is about yet.
Yeah.
Or what the agenda is.
We're trying to figure it out together. So we're going to call it Modern Leverage, right? And so why are we calling it Modern Leverage? Well, it's based on Naval Ravikant's 4 types of leverage that you can use to create wealth. And we're both in the business of trying to create wealth for ourselves, right? Yeah. And so what are the 4 forms of leverage that we can use? Well, the first two classic forms of leverage are labor and capital, right? So traditionally, you get a bunch of people together, they can build a pyramid or they can build a building, right? And so you're using that physical labor to leverage something that can produce wealth, right?
Do you think capital comes naturally to people?
Capital?
Because like labor is like the most obvious one, right?
Yeah.
Like you grow up, you like get educated and you get a job. Like you sell your time for money. Like that's the most intuitive, right?
Right.
That's like how you make money. That's how you think you make money.
But it's not leverage though, right? It's like, it's just basic, I'm gonna open this can of water and I'm gonna drink the water, right? It's like a 1-for-1 trade. Same thing with like having a job. I'm gonna work an hourly wage and then I'm gonna get paid for it. But you're not able to leverage up that capital. So I don't think it's intuitive. I don't think any form of leverage is intuitive.
Interesting. So tell me, what does he mean by like human or like working, like those 2 capitals, like a...
Yeah. So the first 2 OG forms of capital are or forms of leverage are labor and capital. So labor is just human labor. Capital is money, right? You can take money and you can turn it into more money, right? If you have $1,000 and you get a 30% return, and then you compound those returns year after year, you're leveraging up your wealth, right? So those have been going on for thousands of years, right? And now we're in an era where there's 2 more modern forms of leverage, which is code and media. Now you're familiar with both of those, and we can get into like what you're building in a second because I want to hear the Oasis origin story. But
give me a little background on these 2 new forms of leverage.
Yeah, so
like these have never existed like until recently, right?
Well, I mean, think about like the dawn of the computer age. When we were talking about labor, right? It's like dollar for dollar, hour for dollar. You're just getting paid in like these small increments, and you don't have the ability to lever up the amount of wealth that you can generate. But with code, you can write a program that goes out into the marketplace and it works for you at night. So it's like labor that's working 24 hours a day for you. You've built a robot, right? And I mean, that's kind of what computers are. We talk about how, like robots and AI may take over the world or whatever, like depending how you think the world is going to go.
For sure.
But they already have with computers, right? Computers are robots and they work 24 hours a day for us, making money for us. And then media, that's a little bit newer in terms of being able to, leverage up wealth for an individual. We had the printing press that was invented and it was able to influence a lot of people to do certain things. But now, but you had to, have a printing press and you had to have paper and you had to have ideas and then you had to have distribution to go distribute that media.
You probably
right?
need capital to do that, right?
Exactly.
Not everyone has a printing press in there.
And labor too.
And labor, right.
But now, with the advent of social media, any person can go on the internet, make a video because the tools have been, sort of decentralized for us. We all have phones. You can make a video, put it on the internet, and then you could just get paid for the views, or you can just disseminate a message out into the public, and what comes back is wealth, right?
Post video, make money.
That's literally the playbook.
That's the formula.
That's literally the playbook for the economy 2024 and on.
So it sounds like these forms of leverage are like distribution based. Like before, you would invest this time and money, right? And you could only like interact with people in your space.
Yeah.
But code and media, you can do the same amount of work in a time and reach anyone.
Yep.
And there's so many people in the world, right? So that's really the power, is like distribution.
That's actually like a great point, because another way to talk about code in media is product and distribution, right? And I kind of want to ask you this.
Sure.
What do you think is more important, right? Because you have a product and you have distribution. You have code and you have content. You have your app, you have your business, you have your product, and then you have marketing, right? Now, you're very unique in what you built, right? With the Oasis app, you've mastered both of those things, right? You've mastered, you've got a good handle handle on code and media, right? Or at least you're a single person,
Yeah.
and you've used these two forms of modern leverage
Right.
to create value out of thin air, right?
Yeah.
And you couldn't do one without the other.
True. I mean, it's mostly marketing, it feels like.
Okay.
Like, from a quality perspective, the product is like, I don't think it's very, like, it's not great. Like, it's not like Uber quality, Facebook quality, like Coinbase quality.
Yeah.
But distribution is like hands down the name of the game these days. And it's interesting because in this space of health and water and accountability, no one can like reach these people, right? And so just the ability to go online and not have any exterior incentives and just like say it how it is, I think has touched a lot of people.
Okay. So this thing that you've built here, well, let's go back a second. So you think the distribution is more important than the product?
For sure. You can
Relatively
have the worst products.
Okay.
This is interesting. There's
Well, you don't like your product that much, it sounds like. Or just
I love my company. I love like the vision, but the product is like, it could be so much better. Like I feel like you're the same way. Like you're kind of a craftsperson, like an artist in a way, like a creator. Like I want it to be like an award-winning experience, like super smooth. There's bugs all over. It's not great. Like it could be a lot better.
So
right?
relative to other products, you just don't feel like it's really good. But I would say like it's in the 99th percentile of, digital products, right? When you think about most digital products don't make any money because they're worthless.
But it's
right?
only making money because of marketing and distribution. Like if I just posted this and like put it on the App Store, put it on Google, like no one would find it.
Of course, yeah.
I want to show you this app that I've been using recently. It's like called appointmenttrader.com.
Appointment Trader?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like this idea has existed forever. Like buy and sell like reservations for restaurants and events.
Yes. Yeah, I've seen a couple of these.
So like I was trying to get like a reservation tonight, right? Like and it was all booked. And the most janky website possible called appointmenttrader.com. Like the product is terrible. Like it looks like it was coded in 2000 and the experience is awful. But because they like reached me at my point of need, like they easily got like a $200 sale within 30 seconds.
How did they reach you?
Google.
Okay. Yeah.
But this is like another cool opportunity.
Great point. Yeah. Now you can have great products, right? Like think about like when Facebook first started, they didn't have a lot of distribution. They had like a very, very tiny bit, but because the product was so good and it was so addicting, people would distribute it themselves, right? It was inherently a network. So I'm going to like tell my friend to join this network, right? And maybe that's just social networks, but I think a lot of product goes by word of mouth, right? And it doesn't require distribution because the product is so good.
Interesting. Yeah, I feel like the best products have virality built into them.
Right.
And so as a founder or even a technical founder, you're already thinking about the TikTok you're going to film or the user interaction that's going to make them go, oh, I'm going to screenshot this and share it with 5 of my friends. Like how can you make that embedded into the app that you embed for virality? And like Facebook did that inherently before growth hacking was a thing, right? Like relationship status, liking a post, like it was all gamed in. And so for Oasis, I think a lot about that in terms of like the listing page of each product. Like when you go to Oasis and you search Fiji water, how can I design the first fold of the page on mobile that's going to make you go, oh crap, that's crazy. Okay. I want to send this to my like everyone I know.
So you said something interesting. You're designing it with the virality of social media baked into it, right? So because you create content and the content has the background of the app in it, you're thinking in your head, this landing page would look good on short form video, right? So that's nice. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's actually like super smart.
Yeah.
Makes it easier for you too to do your distribution and your product at the same time.
The best thing you can do to like market your product is to film your product in the wild.
Yeah.
And like the friend I was telling you about that made Q app, you can like Netflix, not Tinder, for movies and TV shows. He like designed half the app to look good on TikTok. Like he made the screens like
so
super like poppy, like gamified. He put like animations everywhere just so he could sit in his bedroom and like he literally films it himself and it gets millions of views because the screen in the app looks so like animated.
I don't come across these videos on social media though, but like that's actually genius.
Well, that's part of the beauty of distribution is there's like I don't think we realize how many people are in the world.
Yeah.
So like this dude is making a killing and you've never even heard of it.
Yeah. I know, that's why I'm so excited to like do this stuff. Right? It's like we all have these unique algos and like I could be a secret billionaire and you've never heard of me. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. We all have our own algo now. It's so interesting. Like who knows? Like we're all in our own different world.
Right.
Like you get fed like online courses, right? Because like they see you as someone like that, but you don't want to be in that. So
I've started to not interact with that. Like I was interacting with it out of curiosity, and they're like, "Oh, we've got this guy," and I'm like, "No, I'm trying to like actually make fun of you guys." You don't understand.
The AI isn't smart enough yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. The ability to game and like design your own algo, your own For You page is such a useful skill.
It's like you are your algorithm now, right? Like also you think whatever you see in your algorithm is what's going on in the world, right? Everyone's like, "Oh, I saw this thing on my feed, right? And I saw it 5 times, and so now I desire it, and now I want to purchase it because I think that it's cool."
Yep.
And I think it's cool because I think that everyone else is seeing what's on my algorithm.
That's the thing. It's people buy like not what they think is cool, but what they think other people think is cool.
Right. And all you have to do to make them think it's cool is like put it in front of you on like on your mobile feed, right? And because of I think the way that we've been accustomed to like watching TV, and we had these like only like 3 to 5 broadcast channels, and everyone thinks that media, we're all watching the same media. But now it's so fragmented that I can just target you specifically in your zip code and your building, like your specific algorithm. I can hyper target Cormac and like sell him whatever I want just by like pounding his feed, and he'll think that it's like some
Cormac
popular
thinks
thing.
Everyone in Santa Monica is using this one product.
Yeah.
When in reality, you just hyper market it for me.
Now that's actually a crazy business model that I thought of, where let's say you have high net worth individuals and you have some sort of big ticket item that you want to sell them. You know, how can I get to that person? Well, you can do like direct mailers or some like weird shit like that, or like try to get their phone number, try to get their email, or you can psyop them by like hyper targeting them on digital media and just like pounding this thing into their brain and their friends too, right? So like maybe there's like 3 billionaires that you're trying to target, and you can somehow seep into their
you can probably just target their like kids right on TikTok. Just blast them. Bel Air, blast all the TikTokers in Bel Air. And just they're gonna share them with their family eventually.
We've got to like try some like tactic like this just to like test it out.
Experiment,
Just invent a fake, you know, $20,000 water. Dude, this could be crazy for Oasis actually. A $20,000 water.
Sure.
And then try to market it to people in Bel Air or whatever. Right?
Dude.
Your fucking cost of goods is like $3. We can spend $19,000 on marketing, right? And you make $1,000 a unit.
Dude, not a bad idea.
Right?
The ethics are questionable, but worthy of an experiment for sure.
Well, I don't know. I would push back on that, right? The ethics are questionable. Like, isn't that what everyone's doing when they're marketing, right? What's the difference between what that is and what, you know, like Louis Vuitton is doing, or any marketer?
I feel like the difference with water is like people see it as like it is necessary to survive. And believe it or not, a Louis Vuitton bag is not necessary to survive.
Okay, facts.
So if you game the system of like a sustenance that you need to live,
but
maybe
what about,
there's a different caliber.
What about food, right? You can say this is the most rare form of foie gras, and or Wagyu beef, and like I'm gonna upcharge this $10,000. You can do that with water. Just sprinkle some, you know, whatever, whatever. You tell me, you're the expert. Like barium, radium.
Like, dude. I think that a huge opportunity right now is deuterium depleted water.
What is that?
So I haven't thought about this in a minute, but most water in the world has deuterium in it. Deuterium is like another form of hydrogen, but it's heavier. And when you drink water with a lot of deuterium in it, it's harder to digest, and it increases aging of your body. It's harder to like disseminate amongst your cells. It makes your cells work harder. And when you drink water with less of this, your longevity like increases.
Really?
And your recovery rate increases. So maybe this is the billionaire play, deuterium depleted water.
Deuterium, yeah.
The problem is it's really hard
depleted.
to get.
Oh, is it?
You have to go to like Antarctica.
But you can't deplete it yourself?
You can, but it's really expensive.
Okay.
So you would need to invent like a new way to deplete it.
I think that's what you got to do. You have to invent a deuterium depletion system.
This is the new alkaline water, dude.
Yeah.
But it actually, according to the studies, actually works.
Really? All right.
Yeah, everyone could be on it, but sell it for $1 million a bottle, easy.
$1 million a bottle, dang.
I mean, hypothetical, but yeah.
Here, let me double check the thing. Not recording.
All right, so we talked about the 4 forms of leverage.
Yep.
I don't really know what I'm talking about. We talked about distribution.
We have to do the origin story now.
The origin story of Oasis.
Yes. Tell me the origin story of Oasis. Why did you decide you wanted to make this product? How long did it take you to make it? How long was like the conceptual phase? How long was the building phase? When did you start marketing? As you were building it? Start from the beginning.
It's always interesting because going forward, you can't really plan how things connect and only see it looking backward. And so when I first moved to LA, I had no idea I was going to start a water tech company. I ended up getting involved in a blockchain real estate company, which pivoted to an AI company.
Nice. Classic pivot.
Great times, honestly. That was the peak. But during that whole process, right, I was living downtown LA. I moved here from the Midwest, where there's tens of thousands of lakes, so you think it's super clean. So I drank the tap water here, and immediately I started getting stomach aches. Like I couldn't sleep at night.
Oh, really? Okay.
So it was like something's up. So this is not okay. So I didn't have a car at the time, so I'd walk a mile to Whole Foods to get the Arrowhead gallons, and then I'd walk back. I would get the distilled or spring water.
That's badass. It's like David Goggins level of like trying to secure water.
Ran up a mountain to get the spring water. Yeah, and then I decided to look that up too, and turns out that had some of the same contaminants that's in LA water. And if you don't know it's in LA, Los Angeles water, you should check. It's wild that this stuff is legal.
Well, I've seen it on the Oasis app, yeah.
I mean, you're talking arsenic, chloroform, tens of other highly toxic contaminants that you're putting into your body every day, straight from your sink.
So how is this allowed? That's kind of what I'm like weirded out about. Like we get like the Flint water situation, you've got like rusty pipes, and like that's illegal, right? It was allowed to happen for a long time, but we have this other problem, which seems to be every tap water system in the entire world is killing us, right? What is it about the government regulation regulation that hasn't stepped in? What is it about like the science that hasn't been publicized yet?
I mean, it's all incentives based, right? The government is not incentivized to maximize the longevity and well-being of the people within the state. They're incentivized to do the bare minimums to ensure the happiness and the peace of the people.
Give them water as cheap as possible.
Yeah, and then tell them it's purified water and good for them.
Yeah.
And so until people come up and demand something better, you can't really depend on the government to tell you what is good for you. And no one else is checking tap water besides the government. The government supplies you your drinking water, your shower water, your cooking water.
That's what's messed up is like they're supplying the water and they're also giving you the water ratings. Like I get an email from Santa Monica that says, here are your water ratings. And it's like A+, A+, A+. And I'm like, well, that's not what everyone else says.
Yeah.
And it's weird because it's well known. It's like everybody knows, but no one's doing anything about it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, most people in the U.S. still drink tap water, and globally still drink tap water.
Yeah.
And you kind of wonder why people are getting sick, even though they exercise every day. They have a great diet. They drink water. It's from the stuff that they eat and drink every day.
Yeah.
But yeah, until companies like EWG is a big one, that probably one of the first people to test all the water across the U.S.
Okay.
And break down exactly what's in each zip code's water. So that's one of the big ones. But what we want to do is take this data that maybe 1% of the world knows and make it super common knowledge, and we can demand something better for everyone.
I mean, I think it's genius because there's like this groundswell of people and there's this trend that's sort of emerging, right, from the populace, and like more and more people are being concerned with this as they learn about it.
Yeah.
And you're sort of leading the way in that,
well, it's
distributing the information.
It's interesting how it works because Nike almost did the same thing in terms of running. Like running shoes were a thing well before Nike came along. Adidas was a massive player in the space, but today there's so many runners. Run clubs are massive. Everyone's into fitness. But when Nike came along, they had to not only build a great running shoe, they had to convince everyone that running was good for them and that running was a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
And this happens a lot.
Yeah.
Right? It happened with like the cigarette industry, right? There was so much cover up in terms of cigarettes are good for you. There were studies funded by tobacco companies that were saying cigarettes are, no, they're good for you. They're not bad for you. But it turns out 50 years later, like we all found out the truth actually.
So do you feel like that's part of your goal with the Oasis app is getting people to care, right? Because we kind of talked about like, okay, product and distribution, and you're relying more on distribution and you're capturing people who are already caring, right? But like you could, increase your consumer base by getting more people to care, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the most powerful part about marketing and building a product is not only finding a consumer base that already has a problem, but creating a new problem and building your market.
Yeah, well,
So
you didn't create
absolutely.
this problem, but you are like displaying it for the public.
But I'm creating the problem in people's minds.
Yeah.
Because before this, a lot of people didn't think tap water was a problem, or drinking their like flavored hoppy water or Spindrift was a problem.
Now, we were talking about ethics before, and I thought about this with your product a little bit. Like, are you sort of, engagement baiting people or rage baiting or getting people to be fear-mongering, getting people to be scared about a certain thing that, like, the government has told them it's totally fine, right? Obviously, you don't feel that way, but, like, can you see how other people might perceive you to be marketing that way?
For sure. I mean, that's one of the hardest things is I'm just telling people how the current state is. I don't want to fear-monger people.
You're
I don't
giving
want to
facts
make
and
them
data.
like fear, but it's like how it currently is. But that's the scary part is like that's seen as fear-mongering, but it's your current reality.
Yeah.
And I'm just telling you facts. So
you think it's fear-mongering, but it's your current reality. I'm sorry. Just the messenger.
It sucks. Like, even when we review shower filters, this is mind-blowing to me is that most shower filter companies, they don't even test their shower filters to see if they remove contaminants.
That's wild.
And so we'll email them and be like, yeah, we don't test them. There's no standard. So this is another thing. They don't test them because there's no legal standard requiring them to test them. But yet they spend millions of dollars to blast TikTok, telling people you need this in your life, but they don't even know if it actually works.
Whoa. Now that seems illegal, actually, right? Like you're making a marketing claim and you haven't tested it. Now they know it filters something, right? But if they've never tested it, how can they even claim that it filtered anything?
They're a business person. They saw an opportunity in the market. There's no standard to like regulate them to make them want to do good in the world.
But there are marketing standards where you can't make claims that are, lies.
There's none in shower filters.
I'm going to look into this because this sounds
shower filters and bath
super
filters.
Super illegal.
Good opportunity to actually build something that works. And even the best ones in the market today, they won't filter out 80% of contaminants. They only target chlorine. But like your shower is a gas chamber of microplastics, radiological contaminants, trihalomethanes, phthalates.
Dude, that's so scary.
Yeah,
Your shower is a gas chamber.
It's wild.
Got a lot of quotables takeaways from this episode. Your shower is a gas chamber.
Yeah.
Sign up for the Oasis app.
That's all you need to know.
So, okay, back to the product. How long did it take you to code it up? Because, like, you've been coding for your whole life, right?
Yeah.
So,
Since high school, I'm a terrible developer.
Are
I
you?
suck at it.
You could have fooled me.
I mean, I'm a really bad developer. But over the years, I kind of just fell into needing to develop something because I wanted to go straight from like inception of idea to like making it. You've gone through the same process, right? Instead of, I have this idea, now we need a co-founder, a technical co-founder. Oh, should I outsource it to India? Should I go to YC to get paired with someone? And it's just too much. So I ended up like being self-taught from YouTube and everything. But yeah, from deciding to make this into a concept, it took like a few weeks.
A few weeks? Oh, wow.
Yeah, to build it. But it didn't get users for like 3 months.
Okay. So you built it in a few weeks, and then as you were building it, did you already have in your mind how you're going to market it? Or did
Yeah.
that come later? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious. Just show waters and tell people there's radium in it.
And so then you built it, and then you started marketing, right? Or
Yeah, but I didn't build it until I like thought of the concept of like this whole flywheel of, okay, what's the product? What's people's need in the space? How can I develop a new problem that people don't know about? What's the TAM of that problem? And how can I develop the most minimal viable product that addresses that problem and solution? Because I didn't want to really develop it for free either. Like I wanted to get paid and build a business off it personally so I can make money, but also so I could scale the idea and it isn't just like a pipe dream and it dies.
Yeah, of course. Like you could have built it as a nonprofit and you could have asked for donations and it would have been the same thing, right? It's like, what's the difference between having a wealthy benefactor give you $100,000 to do this or charging $5 to every person who wants access, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the most influential products today, none of them are charities. Instagram's not a charity. YouTube's not a charity. Any app on your phone is not a charity, but it influences your day-to-day more than anything. So to build like lasting positive change in people's lives, I believe you need to build a business out of it.
Yeah.
This is Mr. Capitalist talking, but that's the only lasting way to actually leverage like good in the world. So I hope to like mix those two things.
Well, it creates an incentive, right? Like it's all about aligning incentives, and you have an incentive now to create more good in the world because you're getting paid to do what you do, right? If you weren't getting paid and you had to constantly beg for money, you wouldn't actually be incentivized to continue doing this.
Then you're also dependent on people too, right?
Right.
And then if you're dependent on people, you're dependent on the current state of things. The current state of things probably corrupt in some way or just not willing to change.
But also inherently, if you're just providing value, people are going to pay you for the value. And like, that's what you've done. Like you've created something that gives value and you were rewarded for it. And like, it's actually a positive thing that you created.
Yeah, ideally. I mean,
right. It's better than like, just making like TikTok dance videos and trying to get paid off views, right? Like you're contributing positively to society.
Yeah, ideally that metric of company growth and revenue is like tied to good.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
It's hard. And like, it's hard to make businesses like that. Like it's so easy. This is why people hate capitalism. Honestly, it's like people hate capitalism because they think that either the workers are being exploited or the people are being exploited because they have to pay for this thing, like jacking up rent or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But like you can create products that people like that are actually good for society and they'll pay you money for it, right? And like that's actually like that's like a capitalist society as well. That's totally cool. And actually we should all make products like that.
Yeah,
we should all be more like Cormac.
No,
What would Cormac do?
Cormac
would build a fucking app to clean the water system.
No, but you have a point is when you have a lot of individuals creating products and solutions based on their personal needs, you get a lot more authentic products that actually address real problems and values in people's lives.
Yeah, and I think there will be more products like this put out there, but people don't have the means of production, right? But I think now we do with modern leverage, right? With code and media, anyone can build anything and anyone can build good things and not just things that extract value or exploit value from other people.
Totally. Yeah, it's this idea of going from idea to shit and marketing that.
Yeah. Okay. So you built the product. Only took you a couple weeks, even though you're a terrible programmer.
I say that just because like I feel like anyone would do it, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm not like a trained developer.
No, that's good. I think people should know that, honestly. I mean, it took me 3 months, but
Yeah, dude. You fast tracked it. You speed ran.
yeah. But I had AI. You didn't have AI.
Yeah.
Wait. So, but like, I want to get on to the marketing point. Because you scaled up. You're on your two main platforms are Instagram and TikTok, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you scaled up to you're like 100,000 followers between both, something like that.
Yeah, 78 on Instagram and 33 on TikTok.
So how fast was that ramp up? And like, was there an inflection point? Tell me like a little bit of the story about that, because that's what I'm trying to capture.
It's wild because, like I said before, I posted for 2 months, maybe 3 months, without the videos getting traction.
Now, when you say without videos getting traction, like give me a stat. Like
I posted the first 10 videos on TikTok got 200 views.
Okay, yeah.
The next 20 maybe got 500.
Okay, yeah.
It took a month to break 1,000.
All right.
But I didn't really change the content between that time.
nice. So you knew what you were doing was going to work. So you were confident in your strategy.
Yeah, but it kind of sucks when people, no one's signing up for your product and no one's liking the videos. So it just took consistency. Like I knew I was passionate enough about the problem. I knew it was an issue that I just kept posting.
Okay, so it was
then it took until like March when I posted a video about Mountain Valley, got 1 million views.
Oh,
took off.
so you went from 1,000 to 1 million?
I don't know, probably not.
Okay.
I need to look back on it, but it was definitely a step function of like 100, 500, 1,000, and then one video got 10K.
Yeah.
And then the next video got 100K. Like,
okay.
But it exponential, right? Like,
yeah.
It took a minute.
Sick.
But ever since that one video, it was off the races. Once the algo picked us up.
Nice. So this really is sponsored by Mountain Valley.
Yeah, actually. Thank you,
Nice.
Mountain Valley. Even though I ripped them in
Valley.
the first video, but they got better.
What is their score?
I think they're in the 80s.
Okay.
Their spring water's in the 80s. Their sparkling water's not in the 80s, far below that. But this is the thing is it can change every year, so you really need to keep up to date with it.
Interesting. What's the lowest rated water that you'll drink, like score-wise? You go below 80?
Yeah, if I'm traveling, it's
okay.
impossible not to.
Yeah.
This is the issue is if you walk outside of LA even, you're not going to find a glass water bottle anywhere.
Yeah.
If you go outside the US, good luck. You're lucky if you can get a plastic water, bottled water from the grocery store.
Yeah, we kind of are in a bubble, a hell bubble here.
But this is an issue is people don't have it distribute them anywhere they go. And now I'm facing a problem too is that I don't have, like we have a Target across the street. I'm trying to get a healthy energy drink. Doesn't exist at the Target. There's no way to get it. They only have C4 Celsius Prime.
Yeah.
They're all trash.
Is there?
So no wonder people.
Yeah. Oh, there are good ones at Erewhon, right?
Yeah, but I'm not trying to walk to Erewhon.
Yeah, of course.
Even me, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like
But
5 miles, right?
This is true. So that's kind of the orange story of where it's at.
Okay. So, I mean, that's pretty rapid, right? That's like, I would say that's like a highly accelerated program. You code an app in a few weeks and you gain monetizable distribution in a few months.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, that happened when you find the right product.
Yeah, product market fit,
Yeah.
right? And I think you have a lot of ways that you can expand.
Yeah, I'm curious about you. What do you think is your one feature or whatever that's going to get the flywheel started? People hook to you, content marketing.
I think about that so much, and I think it's like a future feature. But maybe we can talk about it next time. Do you have to go? Is that your alarm to go?
Much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So next time, we'll do KPIs and we'll do.
I mean, we should probably do KPIs every episode.
Okay. All right. Yeah, let's do KPIs. You don't know your KPIs. Okay.
I know a few of them.
Okay, I'll go first. Okay, so last week I was at my main KPIs. I think right now are views. I don't care too much about followers, but I am going to track it because it's more favorable to me.
That's an interesting KPI.
Users.
Would you say views is a vanity metric?
No, I don't think. No, I think views matter more than followers in the beginning, right? Because I don't have a consistent sort of theme that I'm doing with my content, and my content is sort of tangential to the app itself, and that's a whole strategy discussion that we can have later. But I need to know, because I'm starting from zero on social media, can I create videos that get views, right? And so I have one reel that's got over 1,000, and I've got one TikTok close to a second one that's getting to 1,000.
How many followers have you gotten? Or you don't care about followers?
Well, I do. So I have 130 now on TikTok, up from 100 last week. So it's like 30% growth in a week. So that's pretty cool. And then Instagram followers, not doing anything. The videos that hit on Instagram are the exact opposite of the ones that hit on TikTok, which I kind of knew was going to happen, but I want to get to a place where I can, I know what is going to be popular on both platforms.
Yeah,
so
it's interesting because you're doing a few things at once here. You're developing a personal brand, you're learning what content hits with the right people based on your products, and then you're trying to measure that with your product success.
Yeah.
So I think next time we should break down how you think about developing a personal brand versus creating a marketing account for your business.
Yeah.
That whole process.
Because they're two completely different things. I thought that the personal brand would be like, this is a skill that will transfer to any sort of business that I do in the future, right?
Yeah.
Being able to create content.
Sure.
But it's a longer term play in terms of monetizing my app today, right? So yeah, we can talk about that another time. So that's pretty much it. Like I'm just like...
You're just tracking views?
Views, honestly, like views to me is the most important thing. I'm starting this week though, I'm going to be going after users. So I'm going to be doing some basically like cold calling, cold DMing. I'm at 18 users right now, and that's the number that I need to go up. So like for me, it's users and views.
What is your goal for next week?
I think I'm going to DM, I'll probably 100 people, and I want at least, I would like to get one new user out of that, honestly.
So like, that's a low goal, but at least one new user that you have like a relationship with, that you reach out to, that you're like testing the product with.
Well, because I'm turning on monetization, this is like one paid user.
Oh, one paying user.
Yeah, so I'm saying like a 1% conversion rate.
Gotcha.
Right, for this thing that right now is like $5 a month.
Yeah, dude, that's
like we talked
huge,
about the first paying customer.
Yeah, that there's someone to pay for it.
Yep.
Okay, great goal.
Yeah.
Nice.
A paying customer.
That's huge. Once you get one, you can get a million.
Yeah. Okay. So where are you at? What are your main KPIs?
I was supposed to track active subscribers. We talked about last week. I haven't tracked that. No, active users. Right now I'm tracking monthly revenue and basically active subscribers. And
Active subscribers. Okay.
Yeah.
Now is this daily active, monthly active?
Just not churned subscribers.
Okay.
That's around 2,700 right now.
Okay.
And then I'm tracking revenue. And the scary thing for me is that revenue is around 26K right now, monthly revenue, including affiliate revenue.
Yep.
There's a new angle that we're taking of Oasis certifications and B2B sales. So two different angles. One, if you have a water brand and you want to certify it on Oasis, basically meaning that we work with you to like make sure you have all your contaminants tested for and lab checked. You get a little badge on Oasis that comes with a monthly price. So we're looking into that business model, as well as if you're looking into a new brand and you just want us to like read your water report, that's like also a price. So
that first one, when are you starting that? Are you gonna start it this week?
This week, I'm talking with the first, basically trial client on that one.
Sick. All right.
That one would be interesting.
So monthly revenue and churn. We talked about churn last week, and we can get into your future strategy maybe next episode.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask about the revenue stats. Now, you have a mix of monthly subscribers and annual subscribers, right? So in that MRR, do you capture, let's say it's $47 a year subscription, do you capture that $47 in the month that it occurs in?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like amortize it.
Okay. Because, it changes the way that you think about LTV, right? Like if someone's going to spend $47.
Annual is always going to be higher.
Yeah.
At least until, like, now it's $39.99 for annual, $7.99 for monthly. That's the current pricing.
But I'm just thinking about like new versus returning customers, right? Like if you have 30K MRR based on, all new customers who are purchasing one-time, annual subscriptions, and then you get no new customers, it's like, well, that was great. And you have these captured active users for a full year, but no new revenue coming in, right? So that's why I was curious about your revenue metric. Do you know the mix of $5, the monthly versus annual?
No, because the past 3 weeks I've been experimenting back and forth, and so I want to wait a few weeks until I know the numbers. But ideally it balances out for sure.
Okay.
I need to go, so we should wrap it there.
All right,
but we
let's
can
do
dive
it.
deeper into the metrics.
Yeah, I want to dive deeper into your
look at
metrics.
that.
That's the point.
And you get a paying customer.
Yeah.
It's like, right. All right, good stuff.
All right, yeah.
Freezing, even though we're by a fire.
Where are you going for dinner?
No.
Nice.
They have like a. It's so hard to get your reservation.